Hey people, we'll start today with a little bunny rabbit in the yard here. You can see him. I'm zoomed all the way in. So he's kind of far. Oh, my phone's lagging. There we go. That's better. Hey buddy. I'm gonna leave Mr. Bunny be. We're gonna head into the woods. It's almost 8 o'clock, just about 8. And it's really nice out. They say the air is bad. I mean, the air quality thing showed up on my phone again today. It's weird, every time they do it, it just shows up on my phone next to the temperature. But yeah, you're not supposed to go outside today if you can help it. But I don't know, man. Fuck that. It's good enough for the birds. The birds are out here. It's good enough for me. So I've been out in it every day. It's been worse than this. It's only 150 today. I think it was almost 200 or something the last time they were bugging out about this stuff. It tends to sometimes make my nose run a little or something. Like gives me like some sinus thing, like an allergy, it feels like, but I don't know. Other than that, I see no reason to stay in the house for me. That's for me. You do whatever you do, it's good for you. But I feel like I'd benefit more. Risk versus reward. I like to get out here every day. I mean, look at this. You hear the birds. It's so peaceful. It's so I worked all day on the computer doing tech support. Excuse me. My voice is a little rough. I was on the phone all day doing tech support, actually, too, on the computer. The majority of the time I'm on the phone talking to somebody. Not always. I actually like it when I get those breaks. Sometimes I'll have to do something that might even take me like 1 to 3 hours, and I don't need anyone on the phone. I just remote into the place's server or something, or their server and a couple computers, and go to work, let them go. But that's rare. It does happen, but I'll have some of that to do tomorrow. Although I do need to talk to the doctor first for probably a good 15 or 20 minutes before I go at his server, because we're going to manipulate data, because I don't like these kind of calls. There's nothing wrong with our site. It's just the user error. Got to help him correct his not billing people over the last year. He's skipped billing a lot of his patients from his notes. He's lazy on his notes. He's behind on them. Doctors have to take notes on their patients, like chart notes. And, occasionally insurance companies and stuff audit them and want to see the notes and stuff, so they have to have them. And some doctors put them way off. They'll be a month behind or something on doing them, just having like a bunch of notes. Well, just literally a little note to do this person's note for this, I don't know. But he's one of them guys, and he was trying to bill all these charges that he forgot to put in, these services that he forgot to put in the notes, basically. That's the way the software works. The doctor does an exam in the exam room, right? And he puts in a diagnosis and the procedures that he performs to treat it. And those get exported to the billing people that work on the office side of the office. And so they never got put in the notes. They never get exported to the billing people, basically. So, yeah. Boring stuff, right? But anyways, he's got stuff going back a whole year, even more than a year, but you can only get paid from insurance going back a year, like timely filing stuff. So he wants to go back a whole year and bill everything that hasn't been billed, which we did once, but then when we did it, we found out he had a bunch of problems with some of the notes that he entered, so a lot of the stuff didn't bill properly. And there's no real easy way to undo it all. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like an intended, there's no like feature to like deal with this situation from like just being incompetent and not doing things in timely fashion in the order you're supposed to and stuff. But anyway, he needs to fix that, obviously, which I agreed to do. And it will be somewhat difficult, but not too bad. But I always get nervous when I'm working with somebody's database and writing scripts and queries that are going to manipulate large amounts of data, like in one keystroke, if you know what I mean. It's always obviously a lot of risk involved there. Got to be careful and do it just right. So, but yeah, the intent is to unflag everything is billed from whatever date he can go back and bill to, like 1 year back from today or whatever. Remove the flag so the computer, the system doesn't think that any of these have ever been actually billed yet. So he can then batch bill and run all of them again, and then we'll let the billing side sort out the duplicates. We'll just make sure the not allowed duplicates is enabled, and it'll only bill things that aren't billed, and everything else should get kicked aside. Should. I mean, obviously, in theory, like this is like I said, stuff's not really intended to do this. I'm always fearful of it working. These tend to be the time I find bugs in our software, like when you try to batch 45,000 charges in one time or something, which nobody ever does. Like this is the time it like crashes, or yeah, like it'll be fun, I guess. Sorry, tech stuff, man. If you're not into tech, it's probably boring as shit. I'm sorry, but that's my life. At least 8 hours a day, 3 days a week. Used to be 5 days a week for 20 years, but 20 plus years, maybe. I don't know, I've been 3 days a week a pretty long time now. It's been quite a few years, so. But I've worked at this place a long time, off and on. I have quit a few times. Not really quit, like bad quit, like resigned, because a couple of times I've started businesses, online things on my own. A few times even. And they've done really well, but they never last, was the thing. But yeah, maybe out of all my adult life, I think maybe 8 or 9 years, I haven't had like a normal job. I like just worked for myself, making money online, selling stuff online, or doing affiliate marketing stuff, or other things too. Ways I figured out how to make money on the internet. Legit stuff, nothing weird, nothing scammy. Just like mostly affiliate stuff, referring people to things. Want to sell like exercise equipment. You can write some articles about like the best way to do build your biceps or your triceps or something, and recommend the product, the couple solutions that work to do this. And there you go. And if you can get the article ranked in Google and people search for that and find it, and you might sell some of those. Yeah, that's the deal anyway, right? Words. It was all about words in the end. I went after words. I looked for the words that people search for a lot, and then looked at those words and thought, are there any products I can sell that go with these words? And ones that did, I would pursue. But I did it very early. Very early. Like, I was definitely one of the pioneers in the affiliate marketing game, the internet in general. Like, I've been on the internet since it started, so like a long time. I'm 48, so I used to dial up to the internet with a 2800 baud modem, even on my Commodore 64, when there really was no internet. There was AOL, chat rooms, and some sites people made on AOL. But it didn't take long before there was actual internet to browse, a little bit anyway. And then Amazon was early. Amazon used to just sell books. It's like an online bookstore. It was, I mean, that's old. But anyway. I started doing affiliate marketing pretty close to when it started, I think. Like when it was like, became where the internet had enough people on it and people actually were starting to spend money and purchase things on it. And it became something to get a referral link and refer people. Something I used to be good at. But then, like I said, I never took it too serious. Probably not serious enough. Especially being that early. I always just did it by myself. Like I was like, just a one-man show, and I made a decent amount of money. Like, I mean, actually a lot. Some months I made over like $30,000 to $60,000 in profit in a month. Sometimes they happened, but I didn't need that much, and I didn't really. I don't know. I get real lazy. Like I didn't do much with it. I kind of just like ended up starting to make 5 to 10 grand a month, which is a lot of money. Was happy with that. Kept it there. And eventually, once people caught on how much money there is to really make there, it became super competitive, and businesses literally took it over. Like pretty much everybody that dominates that now is like a business with a bunch of employees and stuff. Like it's highly competitive is what I'm saying now. Like it'd be really hard to do it just by yourself. I could probably go work somewhere that does that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, back in the day, it was like the Wild West. It was like there were no big companies really, or there was no like. And I kind of kicked ass at it for a while. Although, like I said, it was probably kind of easy. There wasn't as much it wasn't like professional, really, competition. Like I was probably pretty advanced. Like I had to write a tracking system. I remember, like I had to make like my own database and track all my links and run them through my own server before I'd redirect them to the affiliate, Amazon or the store, whichever, Nike.com or wherever they're going, so I could track it and make sure that they were actually paying me. But more importantly, to see if the click turned into a sale, which I could follow the click all the way, look at my analytics and see where the traffic came from. Like, oh, they searched for, the best running shoes for, whatever, something, you know what I mean? And then you're like, oh, well, those always turn into sales. And then you can see like, oh, I got 100 clicks for people searching for, this shoe, does this shoe fucking have something, is the cushion good or something, or like, something, I can't think of something, but you know what I mean? Just some other term. And you'll be like, oh, and like, I've never gotten a sale from that. So it's like, you learn where to focus. Like you write more articles and stuff about the terms, right, that are driving people. Common sense stuff, right? And you kind of don't care about the other stuff that doesn't drive sales. You learn where to focus your attention, and it grows. And I've done it. And I've focused on single stores before and started pulling in, like I said, some of them months where I think the best I've ever did is I've maybe gotten a check for like 80 G's or something in 1 month. But I also bought traffic in that month. Like I might have spent 19 grand or something on purchasing traffic because I was so certain of which words, right, that people search for, and then I knew were going to buy stuff from me, from my own stats, that I could then go out and purchase them from like Google ads. Like, oh, people search for that, I'll buy the Google ad too and be that #1 spot that like above the results that you maybe probably yourself might click on sometimes by accident, not realizing it's an ad and not a search result. Everybody does it. I do it even sometimes. But whatever, that's what I'm saying. And to be competitive there, you really need to know which words to buy, because you'll lose a lot of money buying the wrong words if nobody ever buys anything. So, yeah. So I was starting to, because I would sometimes, double, triple, even better my money or something, like, spend 20 grand, bring in 40 or something like that, or even if it's only 30, 35, it's like, bucket. I'll spend as much as I can. Yeah, those were fun days. Like I said, it didn't take long. I've had other things too, not exactly that, but similar. I've had other online early internet ventures that eventually got highly competitive. Not long after I do them. It's almost like once I figure something out or do something, I can focus on something. It's like attention always seems to be drawn to it, like quickly that just like evolves or something. I think maybe I'm just good at spotting early trends, possibly. Yeah, that could be it. Something like that. Bitcoin too, right? I get into Bitcoin 2013. Go look at Bitcoin charts if you want to see what I'm talking about. 2012 even, really, like I kind of started a little bit in 2012, but not much. You couldn't buy it. Like I couldn't figure out a way to buy it. But I bought a little bit, but you had to buy this one website sold coins, currencies for games, online games like EverQuest and World of Warcraft and stuff. Buy like platinum and stuff in the game. They also had Bitcoin on their exchange, but you weren't allowed to buy it directly. You could buy like EverQuest Gold, but then you can go on their little exchange and swap gold for Bitcoin at the same whatever rate, whatever the price of Bitcoin was compared to the price of gold to buy there. So that's how I got it. I might have got $500 worth of it or something back in 2012 or something, which was a lot. I think I almost had like a whole Bitcoin or something. I think they were like 600 when I bought it. I might have bought 500 worth. I had like 0.9 or 0.889 or something, which is a lot of Bitcoin now, right? That's like almost $30,000 now, 28 grand or something. Not much. But yeah, then it dropped a lot. It went up to like 1,000, 1,200 and dropped all the way back to like 200, 250, 240, 230 for a long time. I remember, because I was holding Bitcoins the whole time. I remember the whole history of the Bitcoin price. And I was retarded. I went in huge. I thought I believed in Bitcoin big. I went in huge on it and had a lot of them, mined a lot of them. Started a mining operation, rented out a big space in an old warehouse that was owned by an electric company, and they shared it too. And the electrician wired it up for me for all the power I needed. And pretty good deal, cheap, worked, mined lots of Bitcoins. Had a lot of debt too. Took out a big loan to do all of that. And when Bitcoin crashed to $160 a coin, I about shit my pants with the debt that I had and what I was looking at. And starting to go not be profitable to mine them anymore. Like more, it takes more. The electricity bill costs too much, kind of thing. And I got out of it, and I sold all my Bitcoins as soon as they went up a little. It rebounded. We went up, and when they got up to enough where I could pay off my debts and stuff, I sold enough to, I did it. I got out of it and kind of listened to people instead of my own gut. And a lot of people too telling me like scam and this. And I'm like, nah, it really isn't if you understand it. But yeah, I got to be responsible and pay these debts now. No, I wasn't underwater. But you know, that's life. There's always a reason why. I mean, I would be insanely filthy, rich, wealthy if I would have had the amount of Bitcoins I had that I sold to pay off them loans, I'm telling you. With the plan, the original plan was just to keep making payments on the loans until, maybe 2020 or something, which was when Bitcoin almost were $70,000 a coin. Yeah, I'd had hundreds of them. But that wasn't meant to be. There's a reason I think maybe that's not meant to be. It would have blocked something. There would have been something not meant for me, obviously. Or else it would have happened, right? That's the simple logic. If it was meant to be, it would have been. Everything's always perfect, or it wouldn't be. It couldn't be. The moment couldn't be exactly as it is if everything up to it wasn't perfect. So it's always perfect somehow. So got to focus on stay in kind of a positive state of mind. Not that I don't examine negative stuff and chat my shadow. And I go to hell once in a while. I do, especially with music. I love to go there. I'm comfortable with it. Like I am. I'm totally comfortable. But am. I do like to try to stay in a good state of mind, either way, no matter what I'm getting into. And whatever the mood of the day is, try to stay on the positive side. The bigger picture is always positive, I guess, is what I'm saying. Might look at something else in a more of a tunnel vision or a micro under a lens, but hey guys, the bigger picture is a positive thing to me, which makes me comfortable exploring whatever the fuck I want, whenever I want, dancing to whatever I want. Sometimes I go right back and forth. Sad, happy, sad, happy. Angry, peaceful, anger. Let it all out in a productive way. It doesn't hurt anyone. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Let it flow. Sweet emotion. Emotions, like the oceans. Sometimes they're choppy and rough, man. It's the ocean. That's emotion. You just ride them waves, man. Stay afloat. And remember, even if your boat tips, hopefully you got a lifeboat. Even if the lifeboat goes, you guys should have a life preserver. Got something. Worst case, you can probably swim a while. I don't know how long, but you can probably swim a while. I can swim a while. I mean, if you just float on your back and stuff, you can go hours. Don't use much energy. Become buoyant. I should head back up, probably. I think it was like 8 when I left. It was like 7:58 or something, I think. When I walked out the door, it was literally like at 8 o'clock. So how long is this? 22 minutes plus maybe 10 minutes before I turned it on. So that'd be about 8:30. Sun is down. Within another half hour, by 9, it'll be pitch black out here. That's when the coyotes come out. I've only heard them once since spring, like since it's been warm out. I hear them in the winter really frequently. I think it's because nobody goes in here in the winter. And the trails are all just like, usually deep with snow. But I hear big packs of them, coyotes. They roam along the lake. Sometimes they come up in here from the lake, from the shores. They get up here. They get from the peninsula to here. I don't know about coyotes. I think I read and it said like they generally weren't dangerous to people. Like they're kind of more afraid of people than thinking of them as food. But at the same time, it said like they could, they can. Like a pack of them can really definitely get you. If for some reason, like don't threaten them. Don't like corner them. Don't, But they howl. They come out here a lot in the winter. And when I walk up and down my boulevard, you can hear them howling. Like big packs of them. It sounds like dozens of howls. Like it sounds like a big pack of them. It's kind of intimidating and beautiful at the same time. They sound powerful, intimidating, but it is really pretty. Howling at the moon. Bark at the moon. Da-da-da-da-da. Probably don't want to run either. Like if you run into some pack of coyotes, or probably wolves, or Even like wild dogs, don't run. That'll invoke chase, I think. Like you'll look weak, they'll chase the weak. And you're like prey. Prey runs. Strong, stand your ground. Look tall. Stop. Look big. Back away, but slow. You go away, but slowly. You keep your eyes on them. So I do sometimes, even with people's pets. If they got a big dog, I see a big, huge, Rottweiler or something with an old lady or something here, and I happen to be right by one of these run-through pits or something, I don't run. I don't want to invoke their dog to chase. I don't know. Just things, how much to wear. Body language in animals. Especially dogs. Dogs and cats. They're kind of the easier ones when you spend a lot of time with them. That's why. I suppose they're all similar the more time you spend. I spent a lot of time with birds when I was young, but it's been a while. But my parents were really into pets when I was growing up. But my dad built like tanks and cages for a local pet shop called Buzz and Bees, which is funny. With bees, it's funny. Inside joke, but it's funny. And later they started getting into breeding both fish and birds and rabbits and like gerbils and hamsters. I remember too, yeah. And probably more stuff that I don't remember. But we had huge bird cages, almost something like at the zoo. I remember our dining room, like an entire 2 walls, like the corner. It was like a corner tank that went in the corner. It took up like 2 walls in the corner. And huge, from floor to ceiling, bird cage, big bird cage. They had mostly, I think, cockatoos that they bred in there. And they could talk. They're the kind that they could kind of talk. They weren't like the most talkative birds, but they're supposed to only be able to learn a few words. But they did. I mean, they could. I mean, we had one that was like the family pet. Maybe it was one of the parents because they bred them that we didn't like get rid of. Like we had one a long time. I remember it would roam free sometimes a lot around the house. Like I remember it loved the shower. Like if you took a shower and it was out of its cage, like it was in there. It wanted to sit up on the shower curtain and the steam, and it loved it. Just talk and sing. Bobbing around. They had that little mohawk looking deal. Oh man, I remember them. We had a lot of animals though at the house like that. Rabbits. I remember having rabbits. I remember having one up in my room a lot, like it's kind of like as a pet, like just having it running around on the floor, leaving them little pebble turds. Of course, we had lots of cats and dogs. Almost a given in the pet house. A lot of fish. Huge fish tanks. Big, huge, like 100-gallon plus gallon ones. Saltwater and freshwater. Beautiful, I remember saltwater tanks with all those colorful fish. I used to love it as a kid. It's like remember going to the pet store as a kid or something, stopping in and looking at all the fish and the tanks and the birds and stuff. You could do that through my house. Kids would come over after school just to be amazed. Like walking through, like the living room is like fish, and the dining room is birds, the basement's rabbits, gerbils, and hamsters. It's like, and in between there was some reptiles a little bit and stuff like that, and it's kind of just some weird special stuff, like different things. We had a snake, boa constrictor. It's huge. It's like 8 or 9 feet or something. I took it to school. I didn't get show and tell. I took it to school. I don't think you can do that anymore. That was probably 1985 or something. Yeah, fun. The jellyfish used to be some favorites of mine. I love watching the jellyfish. The clownfish go and swim around in the jellyfish, like all of them. Like, I remember that. and all those little different colorful shrimp and stuff in the saltwater tank. I do like them. I wouldn't mind having one. They're a lot of maintenance, though. I mean, you really gotta, if you get one, there's some work involved. It's not like you just have it. Especially a really big one. Small one might be cool. But it was cool to look at. I would just sit and look at them. I heard they're really good for you. Like, they're good for relieving stress and stuff. Good for your mind, like meditative. I've read to just look at fish tanks. Like, it's seriously, check it out. Google it or something. Looking at fish tanks is supposed to be pretty beneficial for your mind. I'd buy it. I'd dig it. I see it. I think anything can be that makes you kind of like a happy place, focused on something else, and kind of block out a lot of any of your stresses or outside worries or anything. I mean, this is like that for me, meditative, walking out here. Even more so, I think, recording it, because honestly, sometimes I feel a little alone. Like, so I think I've said this before, recording it makes me not feel alone, like I'm sharing it with you guys. So, like, and I know I'm not alone ever. Like, I'm not too bad. I mean, trust me, I probably spend more time alone than anybody you know. Like, I've I've been living alone for, wow. I've been single for 5 years, put it that way. I haven't dated at all in 5 years. Well, in September, and it'll be 5 years. But even then, I didn't live with the people I dated in the prior few years. I haven't lived with a girlfriend since 2012. Now I remember. I know who it was. Okay, 2012. So what year? It's been 11 years. I've been alone for 11 years. I have had a couple girlfriends in 11, but I have been single going on 5 soon in a few months. That's a long fucking time. There's reasons for it. I haven't taken no vow of like celibacy or nothing, but I did take a vow to myself to stop dating people that I just like kind of just meet, and I'm mostly just like physically attracted to them and them to me. Seems to be the usual only thing we ever have going for us. I've noticed in all my past relationships is physical attraction. After time, it starts to show that we don't really have anything in common. So I've decided I'll date, but only if it's somebody that I can really talk to about the stuff I like, that I talk to myself about every day. So, and those are really, really rare people. I have found, like, they're really rare. So here I am. I've found a few of them, but none of them are, they're just never like available. Like, they're usually end up becoming good friends, which is cool, but they're not, either available or really are compatible, or maybe there's huge age gap differences, whatever, different things. So at least I know they're out there. They're out there. They're just very rare, which I guess that means I'm rare. They're rare too, the ones I found. We are rare people. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I think it's good. I think rare means like valuable, good. It's better than being common, cheap, right? I think. But anyway. So let's deal with that. I will date. It's just, to me, the choices are very few and far between. And honestly, I think I'm really looking for like my twin flame. And sometimes I think I find her, but it's, it's not an exact science. So, but I think maybe you'll feel it. I think, I don't know. Like I said, that's a tough one. We'll just say there's a possibility I've met her and don't know her good enough. Put it that way. It is possible I've met her and just never got to know her well enough to be sure of that, if that's who she is. But there's like inclinations. I'll put it that way, inclinations of it. That's what I really like. That's a tough order to fill. But that's all right. Patience. I got this feeling if I can get myself to the right state of mind, it'll just be attracted to me. That'll do, you know what I mean? It will. That's why I think, I don't know, I may have already have, but I don't know. I don't know. I really don't. So I don't know. I don't know if I've ever attained the state of mind needed or not. I feel like I've been better than I am now. Like, I feel like I've been like, I call it like, I don't know, like, you want to call it like Zen, like in some like state where you're just like, I don't know, nothing can get you down, and just like really riding high on life. And when you're feeling like that, you're like mentally like really intuitive and like on point and like sharp as a tack with like, you know, I don't know, it's hard to describe. I've been better than I am now. I've been there for sometimes years at a time. Like, I know I can be at a higher state than a vibration than I am right now. But it's not very far off either. I don't think I stray too far from it. It's just, attaining it is, I don't know, it's special. You gotta keep at it. You gotta like work it like a muscle. Exercise it. Use it. Use it or lose it. I think the last time I had it, I quit using it. You know? I think that was, I really do. I think that's it. Use it or lose it. And you want to get it back, just start using it. I'm telling you, just go with the flow. Whatever is interesting to you, start focusing on stuff. Start learning a little. Start expanding your mind. Whatever it does for you, whatever it takes you to get there, music and poetry or movies, or I like to reflect on them afterwards, think differently, think inward, how they relate to you, how they relate to the world around you. Start to make new connections, new meanings. Something seems to pick up on that. You start making new connections. It's like something in the consciousness notices you. It's like, all right. And then once more, some of the consciousness starts looking at you. You'll start to see syncs and things happening, and then you'll start to feel more of it, and it's like sharper, and more comes to you, and we're getting more of that, more in the stream, more of the information coming to you. It can help find like a little bit of some like-minded people to you know, communicate with, chat with a little and stuff, bond with them a little bit, just to, it helps. It's connections, right? It's energy, connections, and consciousness. Just like smoking herb creates new connections in the brain, right? Like making some new pathways, new thoughts, new ways of thinking, new ways to see, new perspectives, new points of view. Nothing wrong with new. I don't really like the news. I usually keep the news turned off. I have. I got rid of my TV, actually. The ex I was just thinking of is the same. It's 2012 when we split up and I moved out and moved where I am now. I never turned my TV back on. I never plugged it back in. I didn't watch it already for a couple years, like a year or two before. That was one of the things we actually fought about a lot. She was addicted to the television, like badly, like could not miss any of her scheduled shows, which seemed to start at 8 or 9 in the morning and end at midnight or something without any break. And yeah, I would literally end up like doing this, going for walks and like going and watching sunsets and stuff by myself. And then she would bitch at me about like doing it without her, even though I'd like beg her to come every time and she can't miss her show or whatever. I would get sick of it and just go, I can't, I just don't watch television that much like that. I'll watch some good movies and stuff, but I don't know. I just, you know what I mean? Compromise. I wanted to compromise. Hell yeah, I'll watch 5 hours of TV with you. Just come out for an hour with me and watch the sunset. No. But whatever, I ain't gonna go there. I had a lot of bad qualities too, so we're just not compatible. Different bad qualities. Just don't. You gotta find somebody that's got the same kind of bad qualities as you, the same crap. Somebody who's crap you can tolerate, that's worth tolerating. If there's enough good stuff there that, you know, you tolerate each other's crap, because everybody's a little crappy. Nobody's perfect. And thankfully for her, the guy she met after me, she stayed with until the end. God bless her soul. She rest in peace. She passed away. Maybe 7 or 8 years, 6 years, or no, how long? It couldn't have been that long because it was 2012 when we split up. She passed away not very long ago. Oh yeah, it could have been that long. It's been 10, 11 years. She passed away, what, maybe 2 years ago? Not even, maybe but close to 2 years ago, maybe. So, I don't know. But anyway, she got back with the guy that she used to live with for years. And they looked really, really happy. I think they might even have gotten married, like in Vegas or something weird. I think. I don't know. They looked real happy, though. Like, she stayed with him until the end, until she passed. And that's a common theme. I think every girl I've dated has ended up, like, marrying the guy after me. My high school sweetheart, who we were together a long time, like, after we parted, the guy she met next, she married. And that was a long time ago. I mean, back when I was 19 or when she was in college. That's the last time we were together. And she married him and still with him today. The other sweetheart after her married the very next guy after me, and that was like when I was still young, like 20 or something. And she is still married to him today. And I'm not going to name them all, but actually it's a repetitive theme. All but one. I think all of them. Like the girl I dated last, like 5 years ago, that girl I only dated her for like 3 months or something, 2-3 months. She married the next guy she dated. Like, I'm still friends with her on Facebook. They've been married for years now, for 5 years or something, 4 or 5 years now. It just tends to happen. All but one. One girl I dated did not do that, but she was already married. And that was the problem. She lied to me and was married. She pretended she was single. She was actually cheating on her husband. But I think somehow by us what we did, somehow her husband found out, and I think it lit something in his, like, he didn't pay any attention to her. I didn't think he slept with her for a long time. Like, didn't pay any attention to her. And I think when he found out about me, it woke his ass up. I could tell, and he did. And I think it saved their marriage. And I think she's like as far as I know, they're still married and together. And in my mind, I'm pretty sure I could just tell. Like, she was suddenly unavailable. She was like back after her husband freaked out. She was here. She came here and brought her kids. Like, she was going to move in. And her husband started calling and stuff, and it got weird. And she started leaving the house all day, talking on the phone to him. And eventually she left. And that was kind of the end of it. Honestly, I knew she had kids. They were supposed to have been like separated, divorced, and didn't live together, but that was not true. They'd actually gotten a big fight, and somehow the husband or somebody called the cops on her, and then she left. That's why she came to my house, because the police got called on her, and she grabbed the kids and left and just came here. Maybe they called the police because she left with the kids and took them like out of state. I don't know. Honestly, she wasn't honest with me, and she didn't tell me everything, so I don't know. But not friends with her, I'll say. That's just not, it's not really by choice or anything. It's just a circumstance. But even with her, before all that happened, I didn't think we were going to last anyway. I'm always at fault. In my mind, like I attracted that even, like the whole thing. Like, in my mind, it's just me. Like, I'm one. Like, there's just one me. And everything that happens to me is my fault. Like, I have the power to make everything in my life happen and create every circumstance and action is either drawn from my fears or my joys or my love so it's always me. It's always my fault. So it's hard to understand, I know. It really is, but not to me. I've thought about it a lot. And I do believe you need to take the good with the bad with the good. If you can create good, you create bad too in your life. It's all your fault. So pretty flowers out there. I'm gonna sign off, people. See ya.